So this has been running for about 3 hours. It's an LG phone that has not been taken apart. All I did is plug it in. It's plugged into the hot terminal. We got the ground wire that's just floating. That's all it is. 12-volt battery, nothing more. Here we have a Pentium chip and an Intel chip and a couple other gold-plated chips. That's the 5th or 6th or 7th session for that. Number of sessions. Sessions usually last an hour and a half or so. And then clean them out. And what happens, you take the top insulation off the plating and just let it into open air, and then it'll start to oxidize or rust. So cell phones they're put together with the nuts and the bolts. So if you deplate the nuts and the bolts, you can just about take the phone apart by hand after deplating. So this is the 2 sessions for the LG phone. One session was about an hour and a half, and one session I let go for 8 hours, and it was probably 6 hours too long. So what's been effective is an hour and a half, 2-hour sessions, and then let it in the open air, take it out of the water, hydrogen peroxide and water, and then it starts to rust or oxidize. There was a number of sessions I've done on the Intel chip and the Pentium chip. I've already recovered sediment, and it's in Ziploc bags in previous videos. And I did another one yesterday. This is from a session, and it run 8 hours. So you can see there's only a little bit. So I crushed them up. Even before this session, I still crushed them up. It's still producing sediment a little bit at a time, but it's still coming out. I crushed up the chips a little bit more. This is the first session from the Intel chip that's in here. And after this first session, it started producing the same sediment as the Pentium chip, so I just add them together. But this is the first one, and then it changed color. So I'm going to clean this off the LG phone and add it to this. This is a stock pot for the LG phone. This is a Pentium phone. This is a stock pot for the Pentium phone. So when the lights go out in here, the battery charger goes out. So I don't have to leave the battery charging because it'll run just fine. Doesn't use much juice at all. I'm gonna unhook the battery charger. hook the ground. No wear on the wire at all. Not much wear at all. Nowhere on the ground. So I don't want to disturb the plug-in because it's still activated, it's still connected, but it'll deplate in there, and eventually it won't get a connection anymore. So I have to get a better connection. And nothing even coming off it. It's all in here. So there's no debris in there at all. So that's pretty clean. And just add it with this. The same stuff. So it'll be easier if I add that to there and then have to wait and add them later. So So that will settle down. It'll settle down and it'll be, so what we've added here, that'll be a little bit more, so it'll settle down and I'll put it in here, but it'll only be about that much. Won't be much more than that. So you don't want any solids into the stock pot. See, it doesn't look like much come off, but when I keep rinsing, use clean water, reused water over and over, it'll start bleeding. The chips are bleeding. This is where you get the heavy stuff coming out. Because it doesn't look like there's much in there already. You just keep rinsing it over and over, and it'll keep bleeding until the water's almost clear. It's the same water I've been using all along, 4 months now. Hydrogen peroxide and water. It's getting lighter. The copper wants to come up. Keep copper down as a sediment on the bottom, solid sediment. Intel chips, or Intel chip and a Pentium chip. Broke it up some. The purple is the Intel chip. might be crushed up more to get inside the chip, because the chips are strung. Gold is strung through these chips, gold wires. It's a mold, an insulation for gold bond wires. The ceramic is the insulation for the gold bond wires. This come out of there, part of one of the chips, the one oddball chip that's in there that has gold plated legs on it. So let this get some air and then crush it up maybe some more and hit it again. Say crush it right up in the fine stuff, and that'd probably be the best thing, through a grinder. But you can't run those purple chips through a grinder. So there's sediment. Let this settle, or just we'll just add. Can't put any more in there. I gotta let that settle down. But that goes in there too. Same stuff, different day. It's nearly the same, identical stuff there as in here. So it's not going to clear up much more. Just a little bit in there to settle down. So I'll just set the camera here and you can watch it settle down. Pentium and Intel chip. LG phone. Plug it right in. Reverse plate it. This is hard drive sediment. Reverse electroplated off of hard drives. Did in a previous video, did a dry out on the hard drive sediment. So that should be 3 to 4 hours of reverse electroplating. And same with that. I mean, I overran it and it wasn't producing any sediment because it had to dry out some. Or in the case of the chips, I got to break the chips up. So when that clears up, put that back in there. So this is green sediment extracted from other boards. Same with that one. This is from PCB boards. Reverse electroplating. Shown in the previous videos. You have to watch the previous videos. So it's really not going to settle down too much more. We'll put that in a mug in the next episode.